everyone. Welcome to the Self-Awareness Journey podcast. I'm Melissa Albers.
And I'm JJ Parker. This podcast is for seekers, seekers of happiness and joy, seekers of a centered approach to success in life, seekers of their true, authentic selves.
Get ready for some real talk on everything from anxiety, emotions, and habits to love, compassion, and forgiveness. We know you'll be challenged and enlightened by this conversation. We're so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, JJ. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Are you done?
It was your birthday. Oh my gosh.
It was my birthday.
I think that
1 year older.
I think you and I know 1 year older, so much more mature.
Yeah, right.
So much more worldly. So many things happened. I'm kind of teasing you because I know you are just not a guy who loves the celebratory birthday extravaganza.
I am not.
Neither am I. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about birthdays, but especially like my own birthday, but I really don't like the attention.
I know. I am the same way. I think, well, when I was little, I would get so excited and then I was always perpetually let down. Like I just did not have good birthdays when I was young. Maybe because they weren't great and maybe because I set them up that they were going to be right.
Oh, like you had
the best
expectations
ever.
that were way too high.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never delved into it too deeply to really consider it, other than remembering a couple of really yucky birthdays.
Let's dive in right here.
Let's dive in. But I will tell you that I had in my life as an adult, I feel like I've gotten in trouble a number of times because I have not honored other people in the way they want to be honored on their birthdays, and the whole thing causes me anxiety.
Yeah. A few years ago, I actually decided that the thing that I needed to do during my birthday was just respond to people who say happy birthday to me. I mean, this is how bad I was about birthdays and how much I didn't like it, is people would say happy birthday to me and then I wouldn't even respond back to them. Like they'd send me a text or whatever, and they'd try to call me and I'd not answer the phone. So I just decided it would only be decent of me to say thank you. But that's how far I just really didn't like the attention. Is that for many years I just completely ignored my birthday completely, to the point where I didn't even want to acknowledge people who wished me a happy birthday.
Oh, that's right. And at least with you being an introvert, it makes more sense. I'm a wild extrovert. So on my birthday, I get people that are thinking I'm going to be all wild extra if they don't know me very well.
You're going to be all
it's like,
partying
the
it
extroverts
up, right?
love getting, extroverts love getting attention on their, let's make a big deal about them. And then when I was in the John Maxwell team, Facebook, my gosh, I've got thousands of friends, air quotes, from the John Maxwell team. And let me just tell you, birthdays, it's a full-time job to manage your birthday in a place like that. It is a full-time job for the day, and I just cannot deal. I just couldn't deal with it at all, and then my high extroversion did make me feel ultimately responsible to say something back too.
You felt like you had to engage with people who were wishing you a happy birthday.
Yes. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like I've matured through the years. So now I have a different relationship with my birthday.
So what do you do now?
Well, I don't hate it. That's what I do differently. I don't hate it. Now I just feel like, okay, it's coming up. And actually, this next birthday, I will be 57 in March. Yeah, middle of March. I feel like I have started to take on an attitude where I try to be grateful for what I have, but I don't think about it too much. So it's just not making it a huge thing. And if someone says happy birthday or someone does something nice for me, which many people do, I always say thank you. But I don't emotionally get invested in the thank you like I used to. Like I would put so much energy behind, like I hated my birthday. I hated it. And then I felt guilty. I felt guilty that I hated my birthday. So if somebody tried to make a big deal about it, my family or my best friends or whatever, they would do these overtures. And then I ended up feeling worse because I just didn't like them. And so now I really appreciate if somebody makes an effort to say something or do something nice for me, but I don't think too much more about it.
Yeah.
You know, I try to put it in perspective a little bit.
Yeah. It's like people want to be nice to you, right? They're like trying to show love to you, but you're not really receiving it that way.
Well,
or, you know what I mean? Like that's not how
right.
it's not helping you get that feeling. And then you feel guilty about like almost rejecting their kindness.
Yeah. Well, but don't you think some people love birthdays?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, some people love birthdays,
There's
and
I wonder if
I just think that's so great.
Yeah,
I wish
there's like a personality
What is it?
thing. There might be a generational thing too. You don't think?
No, I don't think it's. Well, maybe. I don't know.
I have, like, again, I'm gonna sound like I don't know, like an old fogey
Crotchety.
or something. We have people at work that talk about like their birthday week, and they like literally take days off of work around their birthday. It would never occur to me to take a day off of work because it's my birthday, ever. Like, but you know, like, so, and good for them. Like, awesome. Like, I don't care. Take whatever time off you want and celebrate whatever you want.
One of my best friend's moms
like,
used to.
So
but
it is like I see the younger generation
flashback.
doing that. I see them taking like their birthday as a serious thing that is a multi-day event.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, when I was young, one of my best friend's moms was one of those people who loved birthdays. And whenever it was someone's birthday, including mine, she did this for me too, is that one dining room chair in their house got decorated as the birthday chair. And that person sat in that chair and they got to have their favorite meal. And she would make me my favorite meal at the time was pork chops with mushroom sauce. And she would call it her birthday month. She called her birthday month. And she loved it. And she loved the feeling of it. She loved honoring and treating someone specially. And because of her being that way, you did get caught up in the spirit of it, you know, when you were around her with that regard. I had an admin who loved birthdays so much. One year, she decorated my entire office with streamers and got a bunch of cupcakes and a banner. And that day, I was hardly in the office the whole day until the very end of the day, because I was kind of avoiding being in the office because it was my birthday. And here she went to this huge overture and waited for me to come to the office the whole day. And I wasn't there, you know? And it's like, it's just certain things like that. It's like, I just feel like there's so much pressure around birthdays and I probably shouldn't feel like that. But, you know, some people love them so much. And then I feel like I want to be like that with their birthdays, but I forget. I don't remember the dates. I don't, you know, because I just don't have that same relationship with birthdays.
The idea that someone maps their birthday expectations onto another person that's interesting, because you don't want to disappoint the other person, but it just doesn't give you the same like juice that gives them.
I know. Do you think people that love their birthdays see people that don't love their birthdays? They think that they're just being like that and they don't really mean it?
Probably.
Because I feel like that. Although I do have one girlfriend who knows me really well, and last year at my birthday she sent me a message and she sent me a card and called me and she said, "I would just like to say you're getting so much better with your birthday than you used to be." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because now I don't even remember how bad I was. I don't even remember. It's just not a thing. Like, I just don't have it on my radar.
I have a question.
I have to tell you what.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to tell you, I have a funny story. my daughter's best friend. Their birthdays are a day apart, and her name's Madeline. And one day I was with Madeline, and we were waiting for Megan for some reason. And Madeline said something about Megan's birthday. And I said, oh, yeah, May 13th. And Madeline said, Mrs. Albers, Megan's birthday is May 12th.
You messed up
It
her
is not
birthday.
May 13th. I messed up my... And I said, was I there?
That's funny.
That's what I mean. Like, I can't even remember
Yeah.
dates. So then I'm perpetually walking on eggshells, terrified
Yeah.
I'm going to miss something important for someone's birthday.
Well, luckily now Facebook will tell you when your own daughter's birthday is.
Yeah, there's a number of social media outlets that do actually. I think, yeah, exactly. LinkedIn will do that as well. Oh, dear. That's actually saved my butt more than once, I'll tell you that,
Yeah.
honestly.
Here's a question I had for you. I've always wanted to kind of ask this question, so I'm going to ask it of you because I'm comfortable.
Okay.
You told everybody your age on the pod earlier.
Yeah, I did.
Just 5 minutes ago.
I always do. Yeah.
I've always found it kind of fascinating that people don't want to reveal their age that sometimes, right? It's like especially women. Yeah. So specifically, why do you think women do not want to reveal their age?
Because they don't want to be thought of as old. Because old women are obsolete. Old men are silver foxes. Like there's all these things.
What a double standard, right?
Like, oh, it's ridiculous, right? And like a man as he ages is thought to be sexy or, look good. But when women age, they're thought, oh, she doesn't look like she used to. And there's a whole huge industry about hiding age. Actually, that's why I do it, to be honest with you. That's why
you want to
I
be like
proudly declare
anti-culture
my
in that
age.
way.
I do a little bit. Because I feel like my attitude is very just bright, like I have a good attitude and I'm a positive person and I am very energetic and, just I love to do fun things. And that doesn't change because I'm 57. But like, have you ever watched like some of the 1970s sitcoms or seen like a mid 50s or close to 60 aged woman? I mean, okay, gray grandmas. They look like grandmas. So this is a social stigma I think that we come from.
Well, that's why I was asking because I wonder if as you get older, this idea that maybe you're trying to hide your age a little bit or you don't want to be seen as and I don't know, old. How much of that is societal pressure? All of it. All of it.
Huh. All of it.
Yeah.
Every last bit of it. And I think that there's certain roles too where you start, like if you look at what society says about age, there's certain jobs that the older you get, the more experienced you are, the more experienced you look, the more of a mentor you become. People lean into your expertise. But there are several jobs where it is the reverse.
Like my industry, the software industry, notorious for ageism on the wrong side, right? There's kind of like a joke is like if you're over 40, you can't be a computer programmer anymore.
Yeah.
Like you've lost it. Like you're too old. You've
Wow.
aged out of being a computer programmer. Because that's for like a young brain, not an old brain.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's not true,
you know?
but it's a stigma.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know what? The pharma industry doesn't help us with this at all because they're constantly showing ads on the television, especially during the news, right? They're showing ageism pills to take. Oh, are you starting to... Prevagen, are you losing your memory? Take these pills. And they show everybody in that age demographic, right? They show people in their 50s or what have you.
Yeah, imagine the whole industry of like all cosmetology, like gray, all the stuff to fight
Yeah.
gray hair and everything. A huge
Right,
industry.
Right. Yeah, oh yeah, the gray hair. Right, right. Have you ever heard of that? I just have recently discovered him and I absolutely love him. The comedian Nate Bargatze.
Oh, yeah.
Have
Yep.
you ever heard of him? Oh my gosh, he does a whole bit on ageism. Have you
I
heard
haven't
him?
heard that.
He's
bit.
in a hotel room. His delivery of how he says, but essentially he's telling the story about how he gets to some hotel and his Chromecast doesn't work on his TV, so he can't watch
Yeah,
Netflix.
okay.
Right? So he calls down to the front desk, and this really, really old man answers and says, "I'm sorry, are you staying in the hotel?" And Nate's like, "No, I'm calling from another hotel because I can't get my Chromecast to work." So this really, really old guy that answered the phone says, "I've got a younger guy. I'll send him up." Okay, so then the whole thing keeps going where it ends up that there's now the whole answer lies on a millennial coming to solve the problem. And he ends the whole bit with, "And do you know how long it took the millennial to fix that thing? I don't either, because he never showed up for work that day." So, right? So it's just like there's, even in pop culture, there's all these jokes about age.
What's your
Oh, well.
What's your favorite thing about getting older?
Oh. Do you know what I realized when I was actually thinking about this last week? One of my favorite things about, well, I have a couple of things I want to answer. One of my very favorite things about aging is I don't care as much about what other people think or say. I am way more willing to say how I feel and how I think about something without worrying. And that's a huge thing for me. And I also think that, there's a stigma about women as they age. They, how you get like Karens, people call them Karens, right? The women that are of my age or a little older, that they just get really, crotchety and they'll just say whatever they want to and they don't really care. And there's this whole stigma about them. But I really, really love that about getting older. Actually, the only thing I don't like about getting older is that I am starting to look older. Like my face is wrinkly. My skin just isn't what it used to be. Like I don't like that. But other than that, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? What's what?
Probably just being way more comfortable with myself. Yeah, just I'm just happy being who I am, which wasn't really maybe the case when I was younger. Less striving, like just more content. And,
that's a good word.
And the other thing is I don't feel that old. Like for some reason, like when you're in your 20s and you see someone in their 40s, 50s, even 60s, you're like, oh, that person's old.
Right.
Now that I'm there, I'm like,
know.
I don't feel that old. I feel like I'm 30.
I know.
Like it doesn't feel like I thought it would feel. I don't feel that much older than I did when I was in my 20s. Right.
I remember having a conversation with my grandma before she passed away. She was 82 when she passed away, but both my grandparents were super progressive mentally. Like they were very hip. They were very accepting, very aware of everything that was happening all the time. They just were. And I remember her seeing a picture of herself towards the end. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't even recognize myself. And I knew what she meant because she doesn't think like the way her body looked.
Yeah, so
her body continued to age, but she just
stayed kind of set at a particular age, but her physical image changed. That's interesting.
And her mind was so active all the time. Like at the end of her life, she was studying physics. She was a very educated person and loved a sense of humor. And so I think because she was so young-minded in so many ways that it was shocking for her to see that her body wasn't staying there with her.
So what do you think are some of those things that help you stay maybe feeling young or feeling like you're not aging?
I think it is all mindset. I think it's all mindset. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that it's a lot of mindset. I'll come across people who have, like you're saying, a fairly, I hate to say young, but you know what I mean, like a younger,
yeah. Less developed.
just a mindset that is much more maybe playful, less set, like more flowing or more open. It feels like when you get older, you get a little bit more rigid around your thinking. And to me,
I
a
100%
younger
agree.
mindset
If you're not aware.
isn't nearly as rigid as maybe an older mindset. Now, that's again a stereotype, but that's kind of what I observe.
You know what? I think you're right. I just I always am studying something of whatever. And just recently I've been listening to Wayne Dyer. So I've heard so much about Wayne Dyer. He is like one of the original thought leaders on changing your mindset, changing your life. And I actually think he has a book with that title or something like that. And I was listening to one of his YouTube videos. He's very interesting, very approachable, interesting person. And one of the tenets that he teaches and believes in and repeats often, and I love it, and it sits right here in this conversation, is in order to be in this mindset and to have this continual growth and to not, to never age, to do all these things or whatever, he says, be open to everything and attached to nothing.
Oh, what a great phrase.
Isn't that amazing? I love it. And that is exactly what you're talking about. It's like being open, being aware, listening with interest to how other people's perspectives are, and just don't attach. You don't have to attach to anything against what they're saying or attach to them or with them. But I think there sits total human growth. Yep. So open to everything and attached to nothing.
What a great phrase.
Yeah.
The other part of aging that I'm very, very mindful of is the physical part. I'll have people at my same age that, when they bend down, they are clearly very stiff, right? Or just can't move like they used to be able to move.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be like super broed out exercise guy all the time.
Yeah, you are.
But I do what I don't want, the thing I'm fearful of as I get older is I don't want to lose like mobility. Like
Totally.
I want to be able to like go up and down the stairs easily or like carry the vacuum or like I want to be able to like move through life physically without everyday like aches and pains. So I do spend a lot of time trying to work on like my fitness and strength training to an end of like keeping my mobility.
Right. That's really wise, I think, actually. And I think that we do abuse our bodies. It's amazing how our bodies will continue on the journey regardless of how we've cared for it. It's amazing what the human body can do, right? But yeah, I think that's really good to be mindful of that too. As
keeping that like mind-body connection, taking care of my mind, taking care of my body, making sure those are kind of moving together. Like I think making sure I'm developing both those things together as I age is important because I don't want to neglect one because it would affect the other.
Right.
So
yeah, that's good. That's good thinking. Well, what an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I can't say it's changed my attitude about birthdays. The actual celebratory part or the acknowledgement part of it. I do try to be better at it every year just for the sake of my kids and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's the other thing about birthdays maybe that I find sometimes good is like it's a nice time to like reflect on yourself. We have
that's true.
We have different holidays that celebrate different things. Your birthday is like the only holiday for yourself that really focuses on you. And so for some of that's us,
Yeah.
that's uncomfortable, but we maybe should face that uncomfortableness. And it might be a great time to just take inventory of how you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's good advice.
Did you enjoy this episode? Please go to your favorite podcast platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review so others can discover it as well.
Growing self-awareness is a lifelong journey, and there's always further to go. And it's better when we're all in it together. Please think of someone you know who could benefit from hearing today's conversation and share this episode with them. We can't thank you enough for listening. Until next time, happy exploring, seekers.